There's a COVID-19 update happening. Let's listen in to that.
Ça nous permet pas d'être parfaitement précis sur
I can't be perfectly specific who or how many got Omicron in recent weeks, but there's enough information that there was a lot of infection with Omicron. And this data shows us the progression. We can't confirm with the very secure models that we want to use on the methodological processes for the past few weeks, but we expect mostly Omicron, and also it varies in the group of children under 6 months, the 5 to 11, 12 plus. You can find all of that on the Saint-Justine website, as well explained, and you can see that there's certainly a very strong presence of Omicron in the child community and therefore their parents. So all this data shows us that the school environment has been active, and for children to learn things at school, but not necessarily to transmit the virus. It happens more in the community than in the school. So if you noted, for a certain number of weeks, we have begun the return to normal, and particularly for children, by sending them back to school, extracurricular and sports activities for children. And today, or rather yesterday, the government followed up on the recommendation we formulated on Monday, so they announced that masks would no longer be necessary for primary and secondary when seated in the class. So, throughout the school landscape, there'll continue to be masks in the hallways when they go to physical education, extracurricular activities, etc. But when they're seated in the classroom, we think it will no longer be necessary to wear it starting March 7th. So, a good number of those children will be going on their March break in a few days, and when they return on March 7th, they can then not wear the mask when seated in class. And for those leaving on the 4th, when they come back, of course, they won't be wearing the mask because they'll be coming back on the 14th of March. So we have proposed this because the evolution of the 5th wave is going in the right way, you saw. We are fairly reassured that the school environment is healthy. You've heard data around hospitalization, and we're not very concerned about that. It's obvious that there are always cases, but we believe that the situation allows us to go further with regard to mask wearing among children. And we have the opportunity to consult with many specialists and pediatricians and psychologists, educators, guidance counselors. We really talked to everyone, and we also met parent representatives, who of course are concerned, to discuss our decision to remove masks for the advantages for children. Now, of course, there are risks. These risks are calculated. We know the risk of infection could be increased, but we believe that there are more benefits to take away the mask. And the benefits facilitate school life for children, socialization, learning, and for a good number of them who have language problems, wearing the mask, it doesn't help that. So with the mask withdrawal, that was our first group that we were considering, and the doctors' leadership in going to get scientific advice on this. So as we said, it's a calculated and mitigated risk that's to protect our children, as we want to see, particularly...
All right, listening into a bit of Quebec today on the COVID-19 update, including students will not need to wear masks after they come back from the March